Yo, 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 yo. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the show. This is the smoking section with your host, Big Corpse, back again with some fire content and just some super hot conversation. Like, this episode is crazy. But first and foremost, I want to say I hope everyone's doing okay. I hope you guys are safe and healthy during the COVID-19 pandemic. This has been some crazy time, but here in California where I live, we're slowly starting to open up, so hopefully things are getting better. Second off, please go visit corpsecollection.com. That's KORPSX collection.com. Go buy a shirt, 2 shirts, a sweater and a shirt, maybe some socks, who knows. They're the sponsor of this podcast. It helps us keep the show going, helps me put food on the table. So please, please, please go support, and all your love does not go unnoticed to everybody who's been out there, doing some shopping online with us. Today's episode, I bring to you somebody who I truly look up to, not only for his authenticity, but the long history of hard work that he's put into the game. He's a dancer, freestyler, choreographer, artist, Emcee. He is just an all-around creative, artistic man. Channel Island's all-male alumni. He is the founder and director of Soul Fresh Dance Family. He's one of the co-founders of Welcome to the 805 Dance Showcase. He has won numerous competitions. He's performed on numerous TV shows. One that most famously, I think, was his performance with Mos Wanted Crew. He has just been an inspiration to so many young people from my area and people around the world. He is somebody who I can truly say that, like, when he speaks, his truth really resonates. His truth really comes out with every word that comes out of his mouth. And it was an awesome pleasure. Like, when we first talked about him coming on the show, I was like, yo, maybe 20-25 minutes. And we did close to an hour. It was just good chopping it up, like having a chance to sit down and chop it up with him. Every time I see him, it's at a session or here and there, and he's always busy or I'm busy, and it felt good to have, this time to sit down and really be able to ask him some questions that had been burning in my brain. So without any more hesitation, please welcome the wonderful, powerful, and amazing Ricky Cole. My man, Ricky Cole.
Yo, what's cracking?
Let's go, man.
Oh, I'm great, bro. I'm great. We moving out here. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I can't complain too much. Everybody's hot topic is quarantine 2020, but I'm still working, so life is good, man.
Hey, that's what's up, bro. I'm glad to hear.
Yeah.
You're right.
What's that?
Been a lot of this quarantine going on and adapting going on, and
yeah, dude, I feel like that's been the big thing, is just knowing, because especially us as dancers, we have to adapt, so
all facts.
Yeah, so 2020 has just been adapting, like, oh, can't go to the restaurant, fuck it, gonna cook at home, gonna walk at the park, do some simple stuff.
All facts, bro. It's so crazy, weirdly thinking that. And I guess it's just adapting to this isolation feel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my. Bro. So, wait, you said you're still working during this process, too, and you're still hitting the podcast.
Yeah, dude, honestly, the podcast has been, like, one of my bigger, like, creative focuses, like...
Yeah.
Because dude, like, nowadays I always bump into you at sessions and shit. So it's like, I'm usually at the session. And so now that I don't have that feeling, it's like, okay, well, how can I be around people, but not be around people at the same time? And so it's been the podcast,
Facts, bro. Facts. Super facts. I didn't even look at it from that perspective, but that's super dope.
And with the podcast, I've been trying to interview, people like yourself, people I really like look up to and maybe don't have chances to always just sit down and chop it up with. And so now I know everybody's free. So it's like, hey, dog, you
You,
mind hopping on a little phone call with me?
you know, what better time than now, bro? Thank you I appreciate that so much, dude. For real.
Yeah, of course, Ricky, man, and I'm really thankful that I was able to get you on the show because I know you are a busy man and you are a just a hardworking man. So really, thank you for coming on, bro.
Dude, thank you so much. And bro, literally likewise, your hustle inspires me. I've been listening to your podcast for a little while on the low. I was like, yo, this cat's pretty consistent right now. Like real talk. So I've
Oh,
just been supporting from a distance as much as I can, especially since I'm not in the Ox, or I don't see you as often. But seriously, bro, like thanks for having me. And honestly, thanks for all the words, bro. I appreciate that.
thank you, bro. And real talk, because it's like to me, and a lot of I want to be able to give you a chance to kind of give your little background story and everything to everybody, but everybody everybody should know who Ricky Cole is. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
Especially from the 805 area, like everyone should know who Ricky Cole is, especially not only like your own personal dance achievements that you've done, but like things like that you and Byron are doing with Welcome to the 805 and everything you do with Soul Fresh. Like everyone should know your name, man. So real quick
Yeah.
for everybody who don't know who you are, give them your spew real quick for everybody listening to the smoking section.
Sheesh, let's get it. Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy, the Ricky Cole, aka Rick Rock. Yeah, born in Clarksdale, Mississippi, raised in the 805, moved to Santa Barbara, then Oxnard, did a lot. Yeah, but 805 is where it started, and I've been in LA for the past like 10 years, just pursuing the career and the dreams, and trying to just pass on some of the knowledge from dance to hosting to just entertainment to just being a creative in its own to just vibing now, giving back as much as possible. But yeah, I hope that was like a good kick open to this field, and then yeah.
No, it's perfect, man. And like, so there's a couple things, that you even said right there that I kind of relate with, and it was one of the things I've really wanted to pick your brain about, dude. It's because, I was born in Virginia, Fairfax, Virginia. My family moved here to California, and then I moved back to the East Coast out in North Carolina, where I spent about 8-9 years of my life. So I have this, I feel like you have like this Southern hospitality feel to you whenever you're around people, but then you also have that LA West Coast vibe at the same time too. You know what I mean?
All facts. All facts. I'm like, yo, you definitely been there. You get it.
You know what I'm saying? Like I know what it's like getting up Sunday mornings, going to church, going home, having that big, after church dinner, and it's like it teaches for me, it taught a real importance of your tribe.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Your family and the people you consider your family. Cause over there in the South, everybody's your cousin.
Yeah.
It could be your uncle's best friend, but he's your cousin because he's been around.
All facts. All facts, bro. But like definitely, bro. And I'm like, I don't know if it's been like that for you or not, but it's like, it's as weird as it sounds, like I feel like when I was younger, I moved around a lot, like you said, like from the South to out here. And then, like I said, I was Santa Barbara, then I settled in Oxnard for a good chunk of my time. And then, of course, spent some time in LA. But it's like just all that move around when as a kid, I was like a little upset because it's like all your homies, like you feel like, oh, I got to move away from my friends and stuff. But then low key as an adult, I realized I was like, it was a benefit in disguise. Like I got to meet so many different people and so many different cultures that made me more like understanding the things, I guess. But I feel like I don't know how I would have got that experience without having to go through just sort of being able to be in the South around the fam like that and understand that type of experience. And then also being able to be out here and even like, let alone like from Channel Islands High School, like I was on Channel Islands All Male and like on Pac Modern, like, you know what I mean? But it's like, as a Black man, like being on a Filipino American, like club at a school and dancing for these companies and being around just different culture, bro, like it opened my mind like culturally, which is something I'm just like would have never thought or understood and like didn't understand until I actually went through it. But bro, like it's been a beautiful and blessing like journey.
Yeah, and you know what, bro, a lot of that I do vibe with, because it's like living in the South, especially where I'm from, and I know in some places like Mississippi, Atlanta, Florida, some of these, especially in some of the rural areas, none of these people leave their counties.
Bro,
They never leave city
you
lines.
dig?
Yeah, and here, like let's say LA, Oxnard's a little different, but let's say LA, right? You can go 20 minutes, you're in Hollywood. You go another 20 minutes this way, and you're in a whole nother area. You go 20 minutes that way, you're in a whole nother area. 45 minutes, you're in Carson, Inglewood area. And it's like, holy smokes, dude. And where I'm from, it's a 20-minute fucking ride to the nearest Walmart. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So it definitely, and, CI alumni as well. So when I moved here, it's like, oh man, this is dancing, like this is crazy, and you guys are all Filipino, like what's
You
going on,
dig?
bro? I didn't even like,
You were
I
culture
never knew a Filipino. Yeah,
shock.
I had never met a Filipino man in my life. Like it was like, oh snap. So they taught me about, auntie, you call aunties
Yup.
aunties, and everyone's your uncle, and I learned you eat rice with a spoon, or it's like, oh snap, I just ate it with a fork. Like I don't know, it was so much cultural, and it was so much just like, it was almost like bombarding me with just all this information. Oh
Right?
snap, oh
To
snap.
go from
But
a different
you learn a
side.
lot though.
Yo, so relatable. I feel you on that, bro. But like it's
Yeah.
I feel like it's been such a dope, crazy journey. Like I don't know about for you, like example, like this is a good question I had for you, honestly. How did you get started with your podcast stuff? Because it's like similar to me. I know you do a lot of different things. Like you got, you know what I mean, from like you said, from dancing to being a father to like you have a whole bunch of different things on your plate. But I'm like, what actually pulled you into that direction? Because I see it's something that you're definitely passionate about, and you know what I mean?
Bro, honestly, like, and I feel like, dude, honestly, Ricky, I feel like you would be amazing at podcasts.
Thank
Um, I just started off watching a bunch of YouTube videos of, inspirational speakers, the Tony
Yeah.
Robbins, Jordan B. Peterson, Gary Vaynerchuk. Because I was in a point, where you know that feeling where you're just
Yeah.
spread thin. You're just spread way way too thin. And I was like, okay, let me step back and let me just consume some information here. It's like those moments when, oh my bad, Ricky. I damn near
Oh,
dropped my
we
phone.
back.
Yeah, yeah, I damn near dropped my phone.
I was like, how
But
long connection?
no, but so it's like that moment where you're in the lab and you got everything going, and you're just dishing out everything you got, and you gotta sit down. You gotta sit down and watch your homies. You gotta sit down and
Yeah.
watch somebody who you either are inspired by or you look up to, just to get that. So I went through that phase.
Hmm.
And bro, honestly, I use this app called Anchor. Shout out Anchor. And it allows me to record from my phone. No special equipment, no. I mean, like even right now, we're recording from the phones, like pretty much like a phone call. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, dude, and they distribute it to Spotify for you. They distribute it to Breaker, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. They do all that for you, man. And uh, I just felt like at this point now, I just have a lot to say, and I've had the pleasure of being amongst company like you, learning under Byron, Farside, Dread,
That.
Baby Eyes, and it's like I just want to speak the stories that I've learned, and then talk to some cool ass people and let them tell their stories, like you, Baby Striker,
That.
everybody, man, and just I just like talking, honestly. So
That's what's
that
up,
that pretty much
bro.
birthed it.
That's what's up for real. I always wonder people's why at times because it just makes the story more interesting, especially when it's something that's already dope. So that's good to hear, dude. I never asked you straight up, so tight.
Yeah,
So
and that was one thing I wanted to ask you too, bro. So I like, traveling a lot, and because I know I know it from experience, and especially when you start getting bombarded with, culture from this and culture from that, and you're kind of picking up from these group of friends, and then you have to move and go to a different group of friends. So there's a lot of different interests that kind of seep their way in to our minds. And so what was it for you that made you latch on to dancing? Like, what was it that said, Ricky, this is what you got right here?
Sheesh. Thing that got me with dancing, honestly, when I was in Santa Barbara, right before I moved to Oxnard, I was like in junior high, like maybe 7th grade, 6th grade. But I went to a dance for the school, and my next door neighbor was a popper, and this fool was like nasty. Shout out to Memo. This cat, he basically was a popper. Went to a dance, and he was a homie. He's like the big homie. He's like a year or so older than me. But I don't have any brothers, so he was low key like a brother in my life. But I went to a dance, saw this dude get off. He was just battling people in a circle. I literally remember the moment, like walking up to the cipher, not knowing what a cipher technically was at the time. You know what I mean? But just being hyped by the energy. And so for me, I'm like, yo, peeping it out, and I see the homie in the circle just like roasting homies, just battling, getting off. And in my head, like as soon as I saw that energy of the cipher and saw what was going on and how people were supporting each other, they were just giving energy. I was like, yo, this is where I need to be. Like before that, it was all sports. It was just basketball. Like, you know what I mean? I thought I was going to, like, for me, I was like, I'm getting a like sponsor. Like I'm going to college through basketball. Like this is all my life is. But as soon as I saw the cipher, I don't know what it was, but it clicked, bro. Like something in me was like, yeah, I need to be a part of this, whatever this is. And then from there, it literally was like, he taught me maybe like a little bit of popping and a 6-step. I moved to Oxnard, and literally like the rest is history. I just started breaking for like 2 years. And I got like fell in love with breaking, like just learning, like pushing myself to new levels, like creating stuff, like, and it was just me and a few homies in Oxnard in my front yard on some cardboard, like in my garage, like going to the park, rolling out some cardboard. Like it was OG, like for 2 years. And after that, like one of the homies I break with was on Channel Islands All Male. And he came over, he was like, yo, Brody, like you got a lot of tricks. If you could help us and teach us, we can teach you choreo. And at the time, breaking and choreo didn't go together. So I was sort of like, nah, I'm good. G. Like, nah, I'm gonna just battle. I'm at the ciphers. So, but they were just like, well, come to one competition, and if you don't like it, you don't got to do it. And I was like, you sort of made it pretty, like, I was like, that seems fair. I'll just go to a competition, whatever. And in my head, I didn't even know there was a scene. I didn't know there was a circuit. Like, I didn't know there were competitions. I thought it was just sort of like they did it at pep rallies and it was some part of the school. But yeah, I went to a competition. It was like, I think it might have been in like Glendale. It was one of the competitions out in LA area. So I was already like, we're traveling a little bit. Okay. Got to meet a whole bunch of people. They were like, it's going to be a gym full of mainly shorties. There's a couple guy teams. And at the end, we can battle. And I was like, you said more than enough for me, B. Let's go. So I'm like, cool. Go to this competition, seeing it packed. The energy's crazy. And then I see a couple teams get off to have some guys, some all-male teams from all over the place. And there was some B-boys on the teams. Like at the end of the comp, like, while everyone's congratulating, all the few guy teams are in the corner in a cipher just battling. And in my head, I was like, I get to battle people from all over Cali. I don't know them. And I got a squad with me, and this energy's hype, there's shorties everywhere. I was like, I'm sold. And it's like, literally from that day, like, it was crazy, bro. Like, the journey's like another like crazy story of its own. But like, from that moment, like, it was like I joined the team for all male. Like, we were undefeated that season. Like, I learned a different sense of brotherhood. Like, it was crazy, bro. I learned so much through dance, just like through having fun. And that clicked from that moment on. It was just like me working hard for something I'm having fun at. And then I just kept getting rewarded with dope opportunities, meeting dope people. It was a wrap.
Dude, that's so like, and it's so inspiring just to even hear that, because it's like, for me, when I hear you talk about it, it's like, the cardboard box. Like, a lot of kids these days, and I say kids because they're like 17, 18, but they're young, really young adults, and it's like, dude, you have no clue how far dance has came for you. Like, there's people busting their knees on cardboard for you, so you can dance in a studio. Like, come on, man. Like, come on.
Bruh.
So
it was.
what do you consider, though, like, maybe as far as like your breaking, like, what do you think would be one of the important parts for kids these days to like understand, man? Because when I tell people about you, I'm like, oh, do y'all know about Ricky Cole? Like some of the kids from HTL, I'm like, oh, y'all know about Ricky Cole? And if they don't, I'm like, yo, he's an OG from around here. Like he's a cardboard dancer. Like
Bro,
he was breaking on cardboard. Like y'all see that in the movies, these old school, quote unquote, old school movies. But that's what he was really doing.
that.
So like for you, what do you think? What do you think is the importance of that for kids to understand? Like how do you think it should be
The
valued?
importance of that aspect of like just starting from there, or just in general with like,
Yeah, like well, a little bit of both, because for me, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
and I know probably for you too, it's like I hold
mm,
history and the cultural history very highly
yes,
in a level of understanding,
yes,
you know.
yeah. Okay. Like I've had a conversation with my roommate about this because, and I'll tell you about this a little later. But yeah, like my roommate's a crumper, like one of the first Latin crumpers. But just hearing history from his perspective through that world almost put me in this kind of perspective as well. But I was like, when we started, we didn't really have, like, there was no YouTube. Like if you wanted to sort of
Mm,
like, if you wanted to get ideas or be able to be taught in that kind of way, you either had to go find big homies in the neighborhood that were willing to teach you and put you on, or you literally were going and buying like a VHS tape, like a DVD, and like watching a DVD and just learning through watching something. You know what I mean? But it was back
mm-hmm,
in that, and that's just like what everyone before me in a sense was doing. Like they were part of crews, and the whole aspect of being in a crew was a different vibe. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was crazy back then.
mm-hmm,
But in general, I feel like starting that way, it taught me that like I didn't need to have, like, excuses aside, I didn't need to have a studio. I didn't need to, like, it wasn't like, oh, I don't have the money for this. That was a reason why I wasn't like pulling up. It was like, no, like by any means. If we need to go get some cardboard so we're not on the cement, cool. If we can get down right here and it's safe enough for us to get down, we were on cement at times. You know what I mean? We're learning flips in the grass.
mm-hmm.
Like it was just like we were that determined and we were that hype off of it. And honestly, I think we were just that inspired by a lot of the guys who came before us. And that's giving 1,000. Like a lot of the OGs before me, like they, like there was no, like, you know what I mean, anything to that. And even when I like started with breaking, it was started like that. And when we got to, I looked at it as training, almost like training with ankle weights on. It was like, if I can get down on this terrain right here, whatever this gravel is, and it's not even the best, then imagine when I'm on some floor that's like fire, that when I'm in the gym, like, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
it almost was like a little
yeah,
determination, sort of like, and even for me, another sidebar thing was like, weirdly, but like I started out as a power head in breaking. So I was doing flares like crazy, like just anything power related, like flips, all that good stuff. That's just initially how I got started. So then it was like, if I'm on cement a lot of the time or whatnot, or I'm on like the street, I'm like, I can get injured straight up. Like I gotta play ball too at the same
yeah.
time. So I'm like, all right, I don't want to get injured. I don't want to get taken out and be like hurt or anything. So I gotta really either one, go for it and figure it out, or two, I gotta take my time and really just like work at it. You know what I mean? But it taught me another sense of work ethic, honestly. Like it toughened me. And then later on, when I got to like the places I really wanted to be, or I'm in a lot of spaces I'm at, the stress and all that good stuff, like this training prepared me so much, bro. Like it was crazy. But I feel like culturally it started that way. Like even when I was out and like when I was going to Channel Islands and we were like breaking, like we were going at any means to just to go to any jam possible just to see some of these cats in person. Like, you know what I mean? Just to vibe, just to like
Yeah.
catch a glimpse of like different approaches, because, and also to see the level. Like the way I got in it, it was almost like the battle aspect was for testing my personal level. Like I could respect you completely and be like, you're ill in my eyes, and I think you're dope in this sense, and we have some similarities here. I want to test my strength against you because I respect you, and I want to see even just where I stand. Even if I lose a battle, like I was like, I want to battle because I just want to push myself, and you're a dope person that I don't know that could push me. You know what I mean? So from
Mm-hmm.
that aspect, I feel like my whole crew, we were out, like we were going, like driving to Santa Monica. We were going to Third Street Promenade back then in high school, just like doing the hit sessions, like, you know what I mean, on the concrete out there, and like learning from those homies, like making friends with those people, going to jams randomly, driving out to like Santa Barbara to go to battles, like to LA to go to random battles. But like that little portion right there, like we were just absorbing so much stuff. And then even like there was times where like I remember we went to Wainimi's homecoming at one point and we battled their b-boys. Yeah, that was
Oh,
crazy. Yo, shout out to all the homies back in the day holding it down. FDK crew, bro. Oh shoot. But yeah, that was wild too, bro. Like random moments like that. But it was more about like less since there wasn't any posting, it was like you had to be seen. And I went to a
mm-hmm.
mini jams where I got smoked, bro. Like as a kid, just being excited, jumping in there, just like, yo, like let's get it popping. The OGs didn't show me no mercy. They were like, this is where your bar is, bro. Get up. Get up. I was like, yo, okay, bet. This next time when I see him, it's on, baby. But yo, bro, the lifestyle it's a different thing of its own. Like, but I love it. That's what got me started. I know you have a piece of that lifestyle within like the crump aspect for sure.
Oh yeah, man. Like I try to tell, I really try to explain. So now I know, I've gotten older and stuff, and now like all these new heads are really, well, I don't want to say new, but these young cats are really starting to
Yeah.
flourish. Like, and it's just like, yo, dog, like just like now you're at a certain point, understand your history, understand where this all came from, like, because you stand on a certain platform now, and now people expect something out of
Mm-hmm.
you. Like these might be questions, like I ask you about culture, and you can just boom start rattling some stuff off, like bam bam, because you're so entrenched. But some of these cats, it's like, hey, well, do you know the culture behind 805 dancing? And they're just kind of well, I don't know. It's like, well, you should probably know, dog, because somebody might ask you this
All,
question who might not be so
all
nice about it,
facts.
uh, and like, so like, this has been the one, and I hope maybe you might vibe with this. Is I tell people, like, understanding culture is like understanding the levels of like choreography. Like you can learn choreography, and then you start making choreography, and then you start actually creating a piece where it has visuals, effects, and layers and transitions in and off the
Bruh.
stage, and and then you build a routine, and then it's like now you have the whole culture inside of you now. Like, just like freestyling, you learn how to
Yep.
freestyle, you pick up a style, you start battling, you lose a grip, and then you
Fact.
start winning a grip, and then now you have this camaraderie of people and this
Yeah.
knowledge. You know what I mean?
Yes, bro. I agree completely. She like
Man,
I feel
man.
like, and I think I was talking to, oh, that's who I was talking to about this. I was talking to, shout out to Melvin Tim from S Rank, the homie. This fool, I
Hey.
was talking to him. I've known this cat for a long time, just from workshops and random stuff before that. And even when I met him, he was a B-boy doing choreo also. So it was like a cool little thing. But we were talking one day just about choreographing too. And we were just saying like just ways we like to choreograph or things that we do. And he was saying that too. He was like, I think some of it, he's like, I like to like choreograph around my homies, like around some of my close friends. And I was like, facts, me too. I like your energy that you're around sometimes helps, or I like to either be by myself and do it. But he was like, honestly, it comes easier to me too. And I was like, we were like both just come to the like understanding that like culturally some of the movement we see makes sense to us or fits to some of us because we understand like the demeanor of where it came from, or like even if it's just as like an example, when you see someone from like if you see a Bay Area dancer who understands and actually goes to parties and sees people doing some of these dances like in its natural form, when they mimic it, it's because they lived around it in a sense. Like it almost has a different essence to it. Or if you're just a dancer in general who's seen enough of it or been around enough of it to be culturally understood of like what's going on, it hits different. But when, and same thing like for
Mm-hmm.
any other style, like if it be crump, if it's a crumper who really doesn't understand where, like, you know what I mean? Like either terminology, if they don't understand where the movement's coming from, where the energy's coming from, like it's a different perspective. Like you can tell. Same thing with b-boys. Off the top rock alone, you can see somebody and within the first 5 seconds be like, oh, this guy's seasoned, like he understands something. Or it could be like either he's like a powerhead or he doesn't. Like you can already have a sense, but I feel like it's related to what you're saying, culture. Like I don't know if it's just from being engulfed in, like you said, battling and learning enough through the battles and seeing enough through that, you know what I mean? But I definitely feel like it affects you as like it affects you with whatever style you're pursuing, for sure. Sheesh.
Damn, bro. I know, man. And that's why I'm so glad. I really knew that, you have such a long history, not only in dance but in all these different little aspects, bro. And I was like, you know what? I got to get Ricky on here. I want to hear his insights because I just know that you got value in your brain, man. Value in your
Bro,
brain.
appreciate that.
Uh,
Sheesh. Likewise, bro.
hey,
This is
dude.
another, like, this makes this kind of stuff fun for me. I love having conversation as well with people who have this kind of stuff, who have dope perspective and who've been engulfed in culture in general, bro. So I appreciate this time. It's a
Hey, man, and a big thing I wanted, because this was a huge inspiration for me, and I feel like especially for a lot of kids during that 2011 2013 14ish, people really got exposed to who you are. And it's something I wanted to ask you about, bro. But what was it like when you joined Most Wanted, bro? Like, I feel like that era, especially in Oxnard, had fucking dance. Dance was
yeah,
jumping. It was like, yo, you see Ricky Cole on Most Wanted? Like, yo, he's crazy. Like, oh my god. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what was that whole experience like,
bro. The
man?
experience was crazy, like top to bottom. Like, just alone for the sake of me to be like a dancer coming out for me, it was like a dancer that left Ox or like started dance in the 805 to be in LA and pursuing certain things, and just like, you know what I mean, one, trying to rep for the city, rep for like my culture, two, trying to just like accomplish some dreams and goals of my own, and like three, even open up doors just to like, and even get knowledge that I could pass on to get people to the next level. But like making onto that show, crazy. Like making onto that crew was already like, what? And I partially knew a lot of the guys individually, but I'd never worked or danced with half of them. There's a few of them, just random things. A lot of them I battled, but I never did them do choreo, so it was crazy. So, but yeah, bro, like that was crazy. It was sort of like getting put on a dream team at the time. And they were like, we want you to be low key. Like everyone had a different vibe. Everyone had a different background. Like we all came from different cultures, like different communities within dance. But we were just like initially, and then this goes back to the story. Like it was initially supposed to be the Most Wanted Crew. It was supposed to be just a workshop for World of Dance. And it was supposed to be the Most Wanted choreographers. They were taking like a Ian Eastwood for the people. And this Ian wasn't even a part of this at the time. It was just 7 of us, but they took us from different cultures, put us together. We were going to just do a workshop like that. People saw the flyer and thought it was a crew and went crazy. And then we sort of were like, yo, like, this is wild. Like, should we just do a performance? We're already going to be there. And it was like, I'm down. Everyone was like, I'm down. And we're like, sure, why not? Let's just get off. And literally like from there it was like that WAD, or we were preparing for that WAD, and then ABDC popped up first year. We auditioned and didn't get it. But that audition literally was our first time ever dancing together, like in front of people. Then maybe a week later, went to World of Dance, and then everything was like a completely crazy story. Getting on the show, that whole process, we were like quarantined, and like weirdly, we were quarantined in the hotel for like 3 months. Couldn't leave. Like if you left, you had to ask for permission and someone had to take you. So it was like a weird time with those shows in general. But like being sort of secluded at the time, and then also having my family, all of my friends, like everyone from the Ox see me on the show, and like it was like, dude, this is wild. Like dancers for people from the city, just for like myself. But bro, sheesh. That's like that already has like so much stuff in that journey. But I'm like, I really feel like being on that show was like a really huge, like, I guess you could say like milestone in my like career in a sense. Like, I guess it was the first televised reality show, second reality show I've been on. I was on America's Got Talent, right? Like before that, a couple years before that with 6 Step. But dude, that was on another level. Like traveling, I never traveled that much in my life at that time. Just being around those guys, they're all kings from different, like all my brothers were like kings in their own area and in their own ways in different lanes. And honestly, I learned so much from being like able to just be around to hear how these guys think, to create in a room with them, bro. Like craziness, like on training. And then too, there's times where like during like rehearsals or stuff like that, like like I'm a b-boy initially and came into choreo a little bit later, so me having to hold my own choreo next to some of these guys, or just even be able to like pick up as quickly or around the time that they're picking up, bro, it put pressure on me to grow. Like, you know what I mean? With pressure, how you make them diamonds. So
Yeah.
that pressure was what literally cooked me into that, like into the dancer I upgraded to at that time. But yo, that was a crazy journey.
Yo, B, that to me, and this is no shots at no teams, no nobody, you know what I mean? But Most Wanted to this day is the dream team of, Michael Jordan and all those guys. Like that squad is probably the baddest, rawest, and just most versatile team I think ever formulated in
Oof,
my dance life.
bro.
Like you, Brian Puspos, June Kamado, Lando Wilkins. I love Lando, dude. I am a huge
Likewise.
fan of Lando. And then you add in Bam, you add in fucking John Ha, JP, you got fucking, and then Ian Eastwood got announced. And I was like, yo,
Yeah.
this is too much. Like this is too much, bro. Because
Yo.
he was the young buck who is my age, and I'm like,
Yeah,
yo, what the fuck? He's on this team? Like, this is crazy. Let me get in the lab. Like,
bro.
I need to get
And
in the
he was a
lab.
cherry on top. It already felt like it was crazy crew, but then like you add him, like it solidified and it rounded us to another level of being a squad, bro. Like, and he was the little brother who was always around during that time. Like he was already, as a kid your age, was traveling with Brian, like doing his own thing, but he was just best friends with the homie. You know what I mean? And with June at the time. And like he would see all of us at different situations because he was already doing his own thing, and we sort of were just like homies in his life in different ways. But like, yeah, it made complete sense when they pitched it. We were like, and when we were getting onto the show, they were like, is this the time? And I think we performed with him once as like a special guest or so like that. But bro, like we knew it made too much sense when there was the option to do it. I was like, yo, let's like, if we thought we were crazy before.
Yeah, lit now. Oh my god.
That honestly gave us the young
Yeah,
edge.
I remember.
We had a lot of cats who had been seasoned in the game, and he was a seasoned young guy. Like weirdly, like you're young but seasoned. Like, hey, these prodigies out here, like you said, this new generation on another level.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And for me too, like it was crazy because it was like I remember hearing the announcement, like, yo, Most Wanted's going to be announcing a new member. And I just remember like staring at YouTube, like, okay, who's this new person? Who's this new person? Who's it, like, in just like that anticipation, that waiting. And it's like also during that time, that was also during the time where everybody was dropping concept videos. It felt like once a month, and so how do you think, like, or if anything, what do you think has been like one of the greatest changes for dance? Because you also went from an
All
era where there
facts.
was no YouTube. You went from an era where it was VHS. I heard when you said that, I was like, damn, he said VHS.
Bro.
So there was VHS. There was, you had to,
know?
dude, the DVDs you had to get. Now you have YouTube, which has turned into this powerhouse of information. And what has been, so from point A to now point B, what do you think has been one of the coolest changes to happen for these young dancers coming up?
As weird as it sounds, that's hard. I feel like there's a couple good changes. Like one, like people can actually like, there are a lot of dancers out here like making a good living off of dance. Like there's some dancers who only dance, like that is their job, and it's possible. There's a lot of different ways to go about it, obviously, and honestly, I think that's where like your integrity, that's where like your vision, like where your direction comes in, like because some people have the opportunity, but it just comes down to what they actually really like, you know what I mean? It comes down to a little bit more than just the dance, but the business aspect to it, like it's on another level now. There's some dancers doing and making more than we've ever seen them make and do. So it's like, and there's also a lot of dancers who are becoming like well-known figures that came from the dance world and community. Like even from people like weirdly to say, like like Phil Wright getting like stuff with Disney, like, you know what I mean, and getting dance shows a little bit. Like these are once again just ways to open up more doors to get us like b-boys into like the Olympics now, like, you know what I mean, like that's another crazy thing. Like, but it's just like, once again, I think dance has always been on the back burner and been the backup dancers and been known as it in that sense, and sort of like not as an artist on their own, but it's carving new paths, it's carving new lanes. It's different, especially seeing the process of everything it's been through. It's definitely different, but yo, I think it's good in a lot of ways. I'm seeing it doing a lot of really, really good things for a lot of young kids, like a lot of dancers in general and their families. So like, I can't be mad at it. You know what I mean?
Oof.
It's once again, now it's just finding our ways to adapt to it, or our ways to pivot in these situations, and finding ways to make it you within what you're doing in this world. And that's another reason I feel like even situations like what you're doing right now with podcasting, with just like other people doing through dance, like I feel like it's a good thing to push for everyone to still keep creating in your own lanes. It's hard, it's a lot of work, but at the same time, it's well worth it, because there's so many other people that are coming up that could benefit from, like, if that door was even open, you know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, like, and one thing that I was really thankful for, and me and him talk about it, because I'm
Yeah,
under Beast now, and that over time he's grown to really be my big bro, man. And um I had him on the podcast, dude, and then 2 days later he hits me up. He goes, "Hey, man, how'd you start your podcast?" I go, "Why?" "Why? What's up?" He goes, "Well, I want to start a podcast." I was like, "Boom, here you go. Bang, bang, bang." I gave him the instructions, and I feel like, that's one thing I love about dancers, is there's that camaraderie of, if
yeah.
somebody needs to get labbed up on something, we're more than willing to help. We're more than eager to
Yo,
help. You know what I
one of my
mean?
homies used to always say this to me. Shout
And
out to Mookie, Jeremy Washington, the homie, my big brother. He used to always say, "Each one teach one, bro," all the time. And like, that is so
yes.
like exactly what you described, bro. Each one teach one. Like, that's so dope that you even were able to put the big homie on in that way. And that, to be honest with you, I think that's something really huge right now that's helping some people flourish to another level, like even crew wise, family wise, homie wise, like it's like a ladder game. Especially like when I used to train, like for just b-boying with my crew, it was like, if I can teach you things that I could do and you can add something to it that I don't do, and I can learn from it, then you're helping me get to a level that I can't do on my own, bro. Like, you know what I mean? But it also takes that little bit of being able to give and to help others around you grow. Because even in the sense of like, even if I do give a lot of this knowledge away and it makes someone spark an idea that I would have never came up with, that idea might inspire me to go to the next level. You know what I mean? That might give me the energy I need in that moment right there. Like, through something I like, and it's not something that you're expecting to come back, but it's something that comes back in in a different way. You know what I mean? Bro. And yo,
Yes, sir.
straight up, bro,
Yes,
like
sir.
a lot of people have been hitting me up about that too, like randomly, like about podcasts, and I was sort of like, I didn't really know much about it, so it's a little bit more intimidated initially. Um, yeah, and I was writing stuff for like some shows, like just creating shows on my own as a host. So I was writing little different things. But yeah, recently a lot of people were approaching me about that podcast life. And you already said a couple things already when you were just talking about that already opened my mind to some different outlets. So I was like, okay, bro, appreciate that, bro. I appreciate the gems you're dropping right here. literally, I've been tuning in a couple different episodes randomly, and I'm like, yo, bro, you're dropping some gems. Like, that's why I was like, yo, I need to definitely share this with some homies that I know that either follow me or that know me, because I know a lot of friends who could definitely benefit from this, because sheesh.
Thank you, bro. And especially this past year, I've really kind of tried to take it a lot more seriously, and because I just feel like I have so much information gathered from such wise people. Like I was saying earlier, from people just being in their presence, you, Byron, Tight Eyes, Miho, Outrage, Farside, Crystal, all these people that I've gotten to meet. My mom, my
Facts. Come
mom's one of
on
the
now.
wisest people I know. Like,
The queen's
and if
always got to
I'm,
bless you.
Mama
Come
always
on.
knows, man. So it's like, if and this has been my thing. This has been my thing, and I feel like most of us dancers resonate with this. Is that if we don't share our gift, then we're doing a disservice for the
Yes.
person who presented
Yep.
it to us. You know what I mean? And it's like, this gift that I have is just knowledge received through friendship of another person, you know, or passing by, or, you know, I'm sitting down listening to a church service, or I'm listening to a spiritual podcast, or I'm listening to Joe Rogan, or I'm listening to this or that. And it's like, okay, I have this information gathered, and there's people who take their time, you know, who invested 2 minutes of their life into me. So let me invest 20 minutes of my life into somebody else and pay
Wow.
this shit forward.
That's
You know
well
what
said,
I mean?
bro. Well said.
Hey, bro, and I know if you start a podcast, I know one thing, I'm going to subscribe, but I know, dude, you would
Bro,
be an amazing
I'm,
podcast host, bro.
I'm working on
I
it
can already
as we
feel that one.
speak,
I can already feel
literally.
that.
Like, I'm working on it, bro. So, and initially it was just supposed to be a show, but with the pandemic going on, so I don't have to delay too much longer, I'm definitely going to be dropping some stuff, like, very, very soon. Definitely within this next month, we'll have some content up. But hopefully we get back to this whole quarantine, the Rona leaving pretty soon, so that we can get some live action and meet up with some people. But we definitely need to do a switch, bro. I definitely love to pick your brain as well.
Oh, hell yeah, bro. And anytime, I'll
Bro,
always be down, Rick.
I
I'll always be down,
appreciate
man.
that,
Got
bro. To
much
the
love for you,
fullest, to
brother.
the max. Sheesh.
Hey, and listen, I don't want to hold you up much longer, so we are kind of rolling up here to the end. Season 2, though, bro, of this season of the smoking section, I've been trying to at least ask one question along the line of, you know, emotional, mental, spiritual,
Yes.
you know, economic health. So, do you have a gem regarding something of that nature? And it can be anything, man, whether it's your mental space, your emotional
Ooh.
space, you know, or your friendship space, whatever it is. What's Ricky's gem
Gym
for
for
this
that
episode, brother?
space. Sheesh. I guess a good gym, or something I've been just working on myself and just putting a little bit more time to, now that we have time to ourselves during this quarantine. Just being a little bit more conscious with, like, my energy tank. You know what I mean? And refueling my tank. I think I even heard you say something about this recently. You said it in different wording, but, like, just putting gas in your tank, bro, and protecting your energy. And whether it be finding different resources and ways right now, since you have a little bit more time, like whether it be going back to some nostalgic ways that you used to do things to just relieve your energy, like therapeutic things that you could do on the sidebar. But it's just taking the time to really, really pay attention to it, and actually giving yourself that time to, like, make sure your tank is full, bro. Like, once again, like, especially my people out there doing a lot of different things at the same time, whether it be school and other things, whether it be jobs and multiple different sources, like, same time, a lot of that stuff takes it, like, energy away from you. And especially during times like this, I'm the type of person that's very connected through, like I vibe off energy, whether it be hosting, whether it be dancing, and vibing off your energy. So when you're alone right now through this good chunk of time, or spending more time than you used to alone, be aware of, like, your energy, you know what I mean? And you might have to refill your tank in different ways because you're in a different situation. But that conscious right there, I think, helps keep you in a balanced place when you can be. But for the most part, watch that tank, bro. That's what it is, energy tank.
Oh man, Ricky, we got to do this again. I know I said like 30 minutes, but
Facts,
dude,
bro.
we closed in on almost an hour, bro. And
But
it
it
was
was
just
worth it, bro. I
it
love
was
it.
an
No, we
awesome
definitely got to do this again, bro.
conversation to
And like I
have with you,
said,
man.
I got podcast stuff coming soon. So the show, I got some shows that I'm working on. But with this show, they have a podcast version of one of them, and I definitely need to get you on there. So we'll talk soon, bro. We'll talk after this.
All right, yeah, man. I'll send you a message right now, man, and I'll give you all the Anchor information, how to get that set up, dude. So if you want to use that platform, it's super easy, super user friendly, man. And Ricky, dude,
Bro,
again,
thank
bro,
you for
thank
having
you
me. I
again for
appreciate
coming
it.
on the show,
Yo, much
bro.
love to everybody in 805. I love you guys. Appreciate y'all.
All right, smoking section. We're out of here. Go follow the Ricky Cole on Instagram. Follow him on Facebook. All that stuff. He's an amazing man, amazing person, and he's
Let's
going to
get
keep
it.
your soul fresh.
For sure. Have a
All
great
right,
one, bro.
Ricky.
Appreciate you.
I'll holler at you, brother.